mysterious world of Dracula. First, let's talk about the myth of vampires in general. Vampires have been a popular figure in folklore for centuries, appearing in stories and legends from all over the world. These blood-sucking creatures are usually associated with death and the undead, and are often depicted as having superhuman strength and the ability to shapeshift. In many cultures, vampires are believed to be the spirits of deceased individuals who have returned from the dead to feed on the blood of the living. Now let's talk about the character of Dracula specifically. Dracula was created by Bram Stoker in his 1897 novel of the same name. In the story, Dracula is a Transylvanian nobleman who becomes a vampire and travels to England to prey on the blood of the living. As a vampire, he possesses a number of powers, including superhuman strength, the ability to shapeshift into various forms, and the ability to control the weather. He's also able to command an army of undead creatures known now as the Sisters, who serve as his assistants. Dracula's goal in the story is to spread his vampirism to as many people as possible, and he sets his sights on England as a prime target. To this end, he enlists the help of Rainfield, a man who is institutionalized in an asylum and becomes Dracula's servant. Dracula's main enemy in the story is a group of people who band together to try and stop him, including Jonathan Harker, a young lawyer who is sent to Transylvania to facilitate the sale of a property to Dracula, Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, a Dutch doctor and vampire expert, and Mina Harker, Jonathan's fiancée. Together, they try to stop Dracula from achieving his goals and spreading his vampirism to the rest of the world. The novel was an instant hit and has since become one of the most famous works of horror literature in history. But who was the real-life inspiration for the character of Dracula? That would be Vlad the Impaler, a prince who ruled over a region that is now Romania in the 15th century. Vlad was known for his brutal tactics in battle, including impaling his enemies on stakes. While there is no evidence to suggest that Vlad was a vampire, his reputation as a ruthless and bloodthirsty leader may have influenced Stoker's portrayal of Dracula as a blood-sucking monster. Now let's talk about the numerous adaptations of the Dracula story in popular media. As mentioned before, the 1922 German expressionist film Nosferatu was the first vampires film ever made, and it was an unauthorized adaptation of Stoker's Dracula. Since then, there have been countless Dracula movies ranging from classic horror films to more modern, tongue-in-cheek takes on the character. Some notable examples include the 1931 Universal Studios film Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi, the 1992 film Bram Stoker's Dracula, starring Gary Oldman, and the 2020 Netflix series Dracula, which was retelling of the original novel. But is there a real Dracula castle in Romania? As it turns out, there is. The castle located in the Carpathian Mountains of Romania is also known as Bran Castle. It is often referred to as Dracula's Castle, although there is no evidence to suggest that Vlad the Impaler ever actually lived there. However, the castle does have a spooky and eerie atmosphere, making it a popular tourist destination for those interested in the Dracula myth. Well, if you're lucky, or unlucky depending on how you look at it, you'll never have to worry about meeting a vampire. But in case you do, here are a few tips on how to handle the situation. Bring garlic with you. Vampires are rumored to be repelled by the smell of garlic, so it might be a good idea to carry some with you at all times. Just don't forget to bring some breath mints too in case you end up having to use it. Carry a wooden stake. It's a classic vampire-killing weapon for a reason. Just be prepared for a bit of workout, as driving a stake through a vampire's heart isn't exactly easy. Wear a cross. Vampires are rumored to be afraid of religious symbols, so a cross may be enough to keep them at bay. Just make sure it's not a cheap knockoff, as you never know when you might need to rely on it. Use holy water. If you happen to have some holy water on hand, you can try splashing it on the vampire to see if it has any effect. Just be prepared for a potential mess, as holy water tends to splatter. Run. If all else fails, it might be best to just turn and flee. After all, there's no point in risking your life if you don't have to. So there you have it, a brief history of the myth of Dracula and the real-life inspiration behind the character. Whether you're a fan of classic horror or just love a good spooky story, the legend of Dracula is sure to keep you entertained. Just don't forget to bring some garlic with you.